Welcome. How are you today? Such a pleasure to be here today. Woo, baby. Woo, woo, woo. It's been quite a while since I've been live streaming here to my beautiful YouTube familia. I love being here, and you know what? I just lost all my prompts because apparently my prompts are nowhere to be found. Hey, I found it. Hey. So happy to be here. I feel like I am on fire today. Such an amazing time, such an amazing opportunity to really connect with you and to really once again empower another beautiful day for you. From the comfort of Empower Media Global Studios all the way to the comfort of your home, my friends. Wow, what an amazing opportunity to be here today, to be sharing with you another amazing message for you. And I gotta say to you that one of the things that has kind of delayed the process for me to being here today for the last several months, so many things have happened, especially within our family. A lot of family uh, challenges per se, some health issues, and we lost a family member back in November, and we almost lost another family member in January. So I had to fly to Mexico super last minute at the beginning of January, and then eventually come back to Canada just most recently, right? And it was one of those things that I didn't really thought I was going to be able to go to Mexico to say goodbye to my grandma, but somehow things aligned, and I was blessed in a humongous way by one of my beautiful daughters and her boyfriend and my amazing grandson, and they essentially gifted me with the ticket to go see my grandma. And that was so cool because I got to see my grandma. I got to go say goodbye, and they gave me the gift of my airfare on basically Sunday, January 5th at midnight. And on the Tuesday, January 7th, I was flying off to Mexico. Beautiful sunny Mexico. And I got to spend there 3 incredible weeks taking care of my grandma. No, my trip was not meant to be a holiday or a leisure or anything along the lines, but mostly I was taking care of my grandma and staying with her by her side at the hospital for anywhere between 12 to 14 hours at night, taking care of her and anything from feeding her water, feeding her food, giving her meds, helping her change positions because otherwise, if you're laying on the same position for too many hours, you start getting your skin starts getting some. I don't exactly know what they're called in English, to be honest with you, but well, it got pretty nasty for her because her skin started developing these rashes that were building up and building up, and eventually she had a rash about that big that was just awful and nasty right around her bottoms because of her being on her back for a very, very long time. You would think the doctors would have noticed or would have done something about it beforehand, but well, I guess that's just the public healthcare system for you, right? And eventually, as I say, we had to be flipping her sideways onto her left side, back into her right side every 2 hours or something. And then again, her medicine, and it was just a really rough, challenging time, not just for her, but especially for the caretakers that were taking care of her, like myself, my uncle, my aunt, my mom, and we had to pay a few different individuals to come give us a little bit of a break and relief because we simply couldn't stay there for 24 hours every single day. And at some point, we had to reach out and connect with other people so we could essentially take better care of her and with the support of everyone else. And my friends, as you know, I speak a lot about self-care. I speak a lot about taking care of yourself before you taking care of others. And in fact, I have a video that is titled "You Cannot Pour Out of an Empty Cup." So you cannot take care of others if you don't take care of yourself first. Mic drop right there. Well, this is not a mic, I know that, but I'm not gonna drop my lapel mic, right? Because otherwise it'd be loud and whatever. But yeah, that's basically it, right? You cannot take care of others unless you take care of yourself. And while I was spending time with my grandma, we we sure had to live and preach and live what I talk about every single day. But you know, my friends, before I get too far ahead, let me tell you, my name is Jesus DJ Perez. If you have never seen one of my videos before, well, welcome. This is my community on YouTube where I get to share and empower many different people all around the world. And so, if you are new to my community, if you're new to my live streams, then you know I love to interact with people, whether it is through the live stream or whether it is after the live stream. I always love to interact with my viewers. So I love to know where you're watching us from this evening. Or if you're watching the replay, well, thank you for spending some time and watching the replay, indeed. The best thing that you can do for you to maximize the time that we get to spend together, again, is to engage with me. So add your comments below. If you have any questions, just add the questions below. If you have a word of encouragement as well, you know, I also get your encouragement, support, your prayers, and I know that we all need our own cheerleader. So with that being said, my friends, as I was saying, you know, when I was in Mexico, if I was not taking care of myself at the best possible case scenario, if I wasn't taking care of myself in every single little bit of time I had, well, I simply was not able to take care of my grandma. And while I was sleeping barely not many hours, barely a couple hours here and there, I had to compensate somehow. You know, I also sleep. I also sleep. I also speak. I'm sorry, a lot about sleep hygiene. So if you have, again, if you're new to my community, go ahead, take a look at some of my sleep hygiene videos, because I do strongly believe that in order for you to keep going in life any given day, you must take care of yourself. You must take care of your sleep the best you can. Because when you're taking care of your sleep, you're essentially taking care of your brain. You're taking care of this beautiful organ of yours, right? And by you giving your brain a little bit of love every single day, your brain's gonna be on fire, right? Your brain's gonna be on fire, and you're gonna be able to indeed have a better proactive day. And what I love particularly about taking care of myself, and what I wanted to share with you, is that sometimes we think that taking care of ourselves requires a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of commitment. And oh boy, would we ever be wrong if we feel or think that way. You know why? Because it really doesn't take much for you to take care of yourself. And I was telling you about my grandma situation because it's a prime example where I was sleeping maybe 2-3 hours at night, interrupted 2-3 hours at night with people screaming in the hospital, doctors coming and going, nurses coming by, lab technicians coming to poke my grandma on her arms and taking out some blood samples and whatnot. So I had no real rest. Didn't really have an opportunity to have some rest and sleep at night the way that I was supposed to, the way I should, or the way, you know, I'm used to sleeping at home. But that didn't stop me from taking care of myself, because when I would finish my shift per se, you know, I would go home, and the first thing I would do is I would feed my body some food. Instead of going home and crashing and just spending the next 3, 4, 6 hours sleeping, well, I would compensate with two very important things. And one of them, my friends, is water. The other one is food. So when I would go home, I would make sure I would keep myself hydrated as best as I could. And you can only imagine, this is sunny Mexico. But even though it's sunny Mexico, I was in a part of this country that there is no ocean nearby. So there are, there are palm trees, but there are planted palm trees in the region, not necessarily because they grow there, but rather because those palm trees are, were placed there. You know what I mean? So the place is actually hot, but cold and dry and super windy, like there is no tomorrow. So that's why I had to keep myself hydrated. And talking about keeping ourselves hydrated, cheers. It is so important to keep yourself hydrated, especially when you have very little sleep at night. And the second thing, like I was saying, is feeding yourself. Make sure that you compensate with water and food because your body is going to need the energy from one place or another. And let me tell you, my friends, when I was down there, I got spoiled. Like, honestly, I got spoiled. I sent a picture to my wife one day that I went to buy this sweet bread. It's a delicacy, you go to the bakery shop and then you have trays upon trays upon trays of different types of sweet bread, and or also, as we know, or we call it pan de dulce. And I wish I had taken a few pictures of that to show you, but again, my mind wasn't really into the, oh, let's go here or there. It was more into taking care of my grandma. But while I was, enjoying this amazing sweet bread, I would go to the local bakery, which is, a block around the corner or something like that. And I'd come back with a big ass bag of bread like this, and I would pick up 8, 9 pieces of bread, and then I'd come home all happy, and I'd be like, "Hey, baby, guess what? Like, here, look, look, look! I end up buying another bag of bread, right?" And she'd be like, "Oh my God, you're gonna come back so fat!" And like I say, well, maybe, but the truth is, I didn't actually gain much weight, or I don't think I gained any weight because I was always coming and going, and I was always up and down every possible minute of the day. And but sure enough, my family spoiled me as best as they could. My mom spoiled me with anything we wanted, and she's hired a caretaker for my grandma, and she comes and helps her out during the day, and kind of like 5 days a week type of idea. And she would come over and she'd start talking to me, and she'd say like, "Hey, what do you want to eat tomorrow, right?" She has a son about my age, and she'd be like, I just want to spoil you on behalf of your mom as well. I know your mom is spoiling you, but I also want to spoil you because you remind me to my son a lot. So she'd be like, "So what do you want to eat tomorrow?" And I'd be like, "Oh man, we'll have some enchiladas or have some, and I would name a Mexican dish, and she would be like, "Okay." And then the next that I know, she'd have a whole feast right in front of us at the kitchen table, where we would have 5, 6 different dishes to choose from, almost like a buffet. And I would joke to my mom, and I'd be like, "Mom, you know that this is probably like a whole week worth of food for me back in Calgary, right? Back in Canada, this is like a whole week worth of food." And we laugh at it because, there were so many options. But you see, the beauty of Mexico is that food, for the most part, is very, very affordable. We would go buy a bag of groceries and we would spend $20, where in other places, such as in Canada, you go buy the same amount of groceries, you spend maybe $150. You know what I mean? Right? Right? So I know in some other places it's different, but we were so fortunate that we were able to take care of ourselves, that I was able to take care of myself, even if my sleep was compromised. Because on top of that, I was sleeping on a very uncomfortable sofa. And my mom has a beautiful kitty, and he runs like crazy in the middle of the night. He goes and gumps and goes and jumps and crawling on the wall and ripping the curtains off, and OMG, right? Like, it's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. But we got to spend some amazing quality time, and towards the end, even though that my grandma's mind is almost gone, uh, she she knew who I was. Okay, she recognized me. She was able to say The second to my last day in there, my uncle and my mom and I would come over and like, hey, who's this guy? Who's this girl? Who's this guy? You know? And my grandma would be so quiet and so thoughtful, thinking and so, kind of like trying to remember who these people in front of her were. And my mom, she always recognized her because my mom has been my grandma's caretaker for as far as I can remember. They always lived together for the most part. And then my uncle, her son, my grandma's son, he's always been so attentive to my grandma's needs. So she had no clue, no problem, excuse me, acknowledging who those two were, who my mom and my uncle were. But when it came to me, at the beginning, within the first few days of living in Mexico, she was calling me my uncle. She was calling me the name of my niece. She was calling me the name of my other aunt, and she had no idea who I was. But then, one day, when I was taking care of her, and at the hospital, the bathroom was right across the hallway. Okay, right across her room, her bed, essentially, because there's not really a room, right? But so I went to the bathroom just for a quick bathroom break, right? And I'm coming out of the bathroom and all I hear is my name. She started calling me and screaming and like, hey, come here, by calling me by name, by the name she always called me, which I'm not going to tell you because that's just how my family and my grandma calls me, okay? But she started to call me by my name, the name that she always called me since I was a little kid. And I'm like, okay, she knows I'm here, right? And then 2.5 weeks later, she kind of forgot who I was. And my second to my last day, she goes, my uncle is like, you know who this guy is? And she's like, no. And I said, well, I came from Canada to visit you, to give you a clue, right? And she's like, you came from Canada? I say, yes. And her eyes, man, just popped wide open, her mouth. So she grabbed me by the face, and she was like right there and there in the present moment, knowing who I was. And shortly after that, after my mom and my uncle left, because we were joking, it's like, well, man, you're leaving like in a couple days and she finally knows who you are, right? I always knew that she knew who I was, right? Like, it's not like she forgot, but maybe her mind is just playing tricks on her. Well, the last thing I'm gonna say to you is the last thing she said to me before I left Mexico, or the last time she knew who I was, I should say. She grabbed my hand and she said, don't forget to enjoy the blessings that God is giving you. Don't forget to enjoy everything that you have. The blessings that you already have, don't forget to enjoy them. And it was a beautiful reminder because it was one of those things that often, or more often than not, we tend to forget to enjoy what we already have. We tend to enjoy what's right in front of us. We get too busy, too caught up, too rattled up with life, with everything else. And we forget to enjoy and appreciate what we have or those who are in front of us. So my friends, my wish for you today, my desire for you this evening once again, is just like my grandma said. Don't forget to enjoy what you already have. And on top of that, I like to say, be grateful for what you already have. And go out and show some compassion, kindness, and love to those around you. This is our time where we get to spend the quality time with those that we can. And if you haven't talked to a family member for a very long time, because you see, the last time I was in Mexico with my grandma was in 2021. But unfortunately, I went to see her under different circumstances. At that time in 2021, she has fell off the stairs and broken her hip. So she had to spend a whole month in the hospital that time in 2021. So by the time I arrived there to take care of her, She was already basically coming home a couple days after I arrived to Mexico, and I got to spend again probably about 2.5 weeks or so taking care of her and helping her around, and that was also a very challenging time, but not as challenging as now. And before that, I was there in 2018. So almost 5 years before that I saw my grandma. And then I asked myself, why do I always come to see my grandma under extreme circumstances? Why do I go to see my family? Why do I reconnect with my family in Mexico under, under circumstances like those? And don't get me wrong, I talk to my mom, I talk to my dad on the phone all the time, and we video call and all that fun stuff and whatnot. But don't wait until it's too late for you to reach out to those around you. Whoever that may be. Could be your child, could be your parents, could be your brother, could be your sister, could be an old friend. You know, reach out, reconnect with them, and allow them to spend some time getting to know who you are once again. Invest in them. The best thing you can do is invest quality time with your loved ones. My friends, thank you so much for watching. I have come to the end of today's live stream. I will be seeing you soon again, but before I go, I want to let you know that I actually running my 23-day gratitude journey, this time on Facebook. So I will post the link in the comments below for you to go to Facebook and watch my 23-day gratitude journey that I usually host simultaneously in Facebook and YouTube for the last, I don't know, quite a while, but in Facebook for sure for the last 8-9 years, right? And I start on Facebook, then eventually I open up the doors to my YouTube community because, you know, there are things that I share there that are more personal, more raw, more intimate, but hey, it's public. So I at the end of the day, I do want to empower my Facebook community too. And if you like to watch some of those previous messages or upcoming messages, definitely go ahead, click the link in the comments below, and I'll see you on Facebook, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. My name again is Jesus DJ Perez. I have been preaching online for several years now, so I consider myself a global preacher that is here ready to serve you. From the bottom of my heart, once again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here today.